Are you ready? The Cornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Cornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Cornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. Oops.
Whoops.
I'm excited to bring you this fabulous podcast today. We're going to be talking about journaling for leaders as a practice. So that's going to be really cool. And to talk to you about this, I'm bringing you one of the world's best leaders in the field, Dr. Karin Lubin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored. Journaling as a compelling practice for leaders has been something that I have been just so motivated to share more of in the world because it's so needed right now. So I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, and I just want to let everyone know that's listening and tuning in, those of you that are running businesses or are in organizational leadership out there, if you're looking to hire facilitators to support your tribe, your community, Dr. Lubin is one of the best leaders and facilitators that I have come across. So she is a well-being coach. She's a trainer. She's an exercise enthusiast driven by a desire to inspire and energize leaders and teams. She does this through self-reflection for clarity and wisdom while building inner and outer strength. She uses bodybuilding, passion, reflective journaling, and self-connection as the foundational basis of inner mastery. Karin wants each person to experience their life rich with purpose and meaning when they integrate their unique body and soul wisdom. Karin collaborates with transformational leaders to create wisdom journals that support people in transition and recovery to greater clarity, self-esteem, and emotional resilience. She uses her seasonal wisdom journals in her quantum wisdom coaching and facilitates journal wisdom circles and loves working out with her exercise for health community. And I can attest to the exercise for health community because I'm part of it.
Yay.
Yay! And I love being part of your exercise community, how you're helping others become stronger, to really focus on the well-being of their physical body. And I love being there. That's why last month when you came on the show, we talked about this topic, exercise health, and how to really, get into the rhythm of making that a number one priority in your life, right?
Yeah, it's a big one. Commitment and consistency and well-being for our health, our emotional state, right? And I think spiritual is really important. So we're all connected, body, mind, spirit, in all ways, right? Whether we think it or not, it's really the truth. We can't help it. And I actually want to just thank you because I am part of the KS Media Group app, and I love this app. I love the people, the expertise that comes with the colleagues and the resources and all the incredible energy that I have experienced from so many people that are part of this app, and this mastermind group that we are a part of, this collegiality. I just find it very supportive and engaging. So thank you, Cornelia.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so blessed that you're part of it. And I just want to let everyone know, since you brought up the app, for all of those people out there that are looking for a well-being app or that are looking for a well-being community, we have world thought leaders, the world's best from around the world, that are featured in the KS Media Group app. And the way that you can get to that is just go to your Google store, go to your Apple store, and download KS Media, MEDIA Group, and you download the app, you create your free account, and what you're going to find is right on the homepage. Actually, we have Dr. Lubin. Uh, we had her featured now for the last 3 weeks, and when you get to the homepage, that's the reason why you want to create your free account, because it gives you access to all the content that is being provided by the world's best leading influencers. And so this, these last 3 weeks, especially moving into January 2023, we featured Dr. Lubin to really get with her message to really get fit and healthy and strong. And there's a video on the homepage there, and she talks about vibrant health. Best part is you get a free gift on that orange bar. Click on that orange bar below, and that says, I want the free gift. So this is just one of the ways that the KS Media Group hosts from around the world are supporting you in your life, in your body, in your business. And, we have so many podcasts in there. We have articles on well-being, everything that you could do to create a better life for yourself. So it's my honor that you're part of that community, Karen. And I'm smart because I surround myself with amazing people.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I love that, and I'm very excited to talk really to so many people who I believe are leaders, whether they're a solopreneur or whether they're a leader in a role of working with a team, a corporation, whatever group that they might be part of. I have found that one of the things for me, I wish I had known about the power of journaling when I was in my more leadership role. And if I would it be all right if I just share very briefly about kind of where I was and where I am now, so that people understand why
I was just about to ask you to go there, so you got it.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. So let me just say that in a previous lifetime, it feels like now, about in the late 80s, I started in my public education role as a teacher. And I was very inspired and wanted to just love on children and help them be their most brilliant beings that they could be. And then I grew into becoming a vice principal, and then I became principal. Then I became principal in a number of different schools. And then at a certain point, I burned out. And I don't know about you, but as a leader, I think a lot of us are dealing with stress. And when we don't have effective tools to really help us deal with stress, and for some of you, you've got it, and I'm really happy that you have. This is dealing with the stress on an emotional level. Some of us, I know, I do my releasing of stress also through physical activity, but there's also this emotional component, and I did not have that capacity down. And I wish I had, because being in a leaderful capacity can be very stressful at times. So I actually burned out completely, and I finally released myself from the education world. And then I moved into finding what my passions were. I traveled for years, and I did a number of different year-long traveling. But the first year that I did it, I was very much engaged with finding out what could fill me up. And then I found the Passion Test, which is a beautiful program that I became a facilitator of, and then very quickly stepped into leadership and became their global director of the Passion Test programs. And then I became a master trainer. And then I had all this time been also a life coach. And so I kept noticing, and Cornelia, you might experience this, and maybe those of you listening have also experienced that when you're talking to your clients, that you ask them, so how are they feeling? They don't have a big vocabulary for how they feel. It's actually quite limited. And that was my experience. So when I was coaching people, I could only get so far. And then I realized I needed like a list of feeling words. And then I needed a process to help them move into what they were feeling, what their body sensation was. And so I actually ended up creating this journal series that is based on the 4 seasons. And then I created with another therapist an internal family systems journal series of 4 so that people could begin to explore their feelings and get a greater sense of what is happening to them so that they could then be more informed as to how to support themselves as well as their team and their people.
I love this story, and I love what you created. And just like the leader that you are, you discovered that the feeling piece was missing, that you could only go so far, and then there was an opportunity for you to create something new, something that's going to be supportive to go deeper, right?
Yes.
Because generally when you ask people, even the question when you ask people how are they doing, or how are you, right? And right away people respond with how they're doing. They're not talking about how they're feeling. So really, the question to ask is, how are you feeling? And not because you're sick.
Yes.
Right? We're asking the question, how are you feeling? Is,
Mm-hmm.
we want to know how you're feeling, not because you're sick, but because that is the the true, authentic.
Yeah, that's for sure. And one of the things that I have created within these wisdom journals, and this is just an example. Okay, this is the winter series. It's called My Life Through the Seasons, as you can see, and it's a wisdom journal and planner, and it's for busy people and deep thinkers. And I wrote that very specifically because a lot of my clients are very busy and they don't have a ton of time to be writing for hours, in a blank journal. So this is actually a guided journal. And the reason that I'm doing, why journaling for leaders is because I want people to be able to manage stress. I want, leaders to be able to see things from a different perspective, perhaps than when they're writing. They can go, oh, okay, wait a minute. There's more than one perspective here. I think it's very important as a leader to have self-awareness, to be able to understand what your values are, what your challenges are, what your strengths are. I also think that as a leader, in my last position in education as a principal, I was the 4th principal, and all the others had all had major health crises. And I was so sure that if I stayed in that position, that I would have had my own health crisis, because the culture at in that school was you worked exceptionally hard and you did not really take care of yourself. Everything was about everyone else and not yourself. And I think that the original value for the school was to take care of the kids and do it exceptionally well. But somewhere there, it got a little bit off. So boosting your emotional wellness, your immune system, I think is very important, and journaling can actually help with that. It slows things down when you're journaling, and you kind of get out of that grind mentality where you got to perform, because we're often asking as leaders other people to do this performance. And I think it's important that we step out of it for a moment to begin to get maybe a new creative download. I think journaling can also help leaders become more effective listeners.
Yes, I think even by, journaling, by by sitting down with this practice alone and journaling, you are already then establishing a form of listening. And the listening actually is you're listening to your inner self.
That's right. And that is why I call these journals a wisdom journal, because that's the wisdom that one is developing, is to connect to your intuition, connect to your own deeper wisdom. And I think that is so important, because it also means that you're connecting to what is your clarity, your values, and how can you serve people? How do you know how you can serve people if you don't stop for a moment and get a little clarity? And I just wish for myself, Cornelia, that I had a process that I could go through. It's very humbling, at least now for me, to be more real. And I actually created a whole program on intuitive leadership. And it's something that is very dear to my heart, and something that I kind of naturally do and was asked to create programs on. So I do more talking on that, and I'll just share just a little bit about that, because I think it ties into the journaling really well. But I do want to just say, Cornelia, if I may, that I use in the seasonal wisdom journals, at least, nature kind of as the backdrop, because I also, at least for some people, talking about spirit, talking about God, goddess, divine intelligence, whatever the word is, I put in the word, seasons or nature as something that's bigger than oneself, so that you can see, you're just like a little tiny cog in this giant wheel called life, right? And so thematic journals that I've created help cultivate, this connection to yourself and to something larger, which is the seasons, which is nature. And I think the seasons have so much to share with us. Now that we're in this winter season, for example, this is that time of maybe slowing down just a little bit, if that's even possible, and going into this more liminal space, this kind of, it's like you are stepping into this threshold, like you're going through this door, but you haven't stepped over the threshold yet. And that's that liminal space. So it's like the dusk and the dawn. And what does that have to offer us? Mm-hmm. And sometimes a little rest, a little immunity boost, lowering our blood pressure, being out in nature, allowing nature to share with us, this larger perspective, can give us just enough of an opportunity to see something as a leader and recognize that we are not really the thing that makes something work. It's the whole entire group, right? I really thought that it was all on me once upon a time as a leader. And when I say that, it's quite humbling, because I did my whole doctorate on servant leadership. And servant leadership was created by a you can go back into the spiritual realm and look at Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Jesus, and they are all considered servant leaders. And in more of the religious place that we have looked, but in education, I was looking at servant leadership in education, in business. And Robert Greenleaf is the gentleman from AT&T who actually created the term servant leadership. And so the thing that I created from that was like on the shoulders of servant leadership is intuitive leadership. And so the journal is really all about helping, because an intuitive leader, any leader, I believe, is someone who needs to be real. And the only way you can be real is to be reflective. And that's why journaling is so key. I don't know, Cornelia, have you heard of Robin Sharma?
No.
He's a very well-known speaker, leader, and he talks to CEOs all over the world. He's written a number of books. The book that is one of my favorites is oh no, I just lost it. The monk, something like the monk in a Ferrari, but also a leader with no title was my favorite book. A leader with no title. And Robin Sharma wrote this book many years ago, and he now still to this day, when he talks to all his CEOs, he talks about two things. Journal. Every day he journals. Second thing he does exercise every day. It's so cool. It's like, that is amazing. I love that. Those are two very important things to me as well. And it has completely actually shifted and changed my life because I do those things so consistently now that I'm in touch with, what makes me a strong leader and where I need support and where are my strengths and where are my weaknesses. And then I can look even more clearly at, okay, so here's all these other people who have amazing strengths. Let's tap into them. So any thoughts or questions, Cornelia?
Well, I just have so many things, throughout. I just wanted you to keep going because you were totally in the flow. I just want to say that, in our evolution moving forward, moving the world forward in our humanity, we are all leaders. We are all leaders. Every single person is a leader in their own life. So whether it is journaling, for, business, or journaling for your own inner leadership, even if you're not running a business or anything like
Absolutely.
that, it's you have to, I feel all of us have to become our own leaders, and then we all come to the collective and bring our leadership
Mm-hmm.
to that creation of our new earth that we are so dedicated to building now, right? So that's why I love that you have these wisdom books, because, like you said earlier, you wish that you would have known that 10 years ago, some of the
Oh,
things that you've discovered in your own self-reflective process through journaling. And I too feel the same way, that I wish I would have had some of the tools back in the day when I first began, because those are the things that helped me get to know myself better, right?
right. And so you just made me think about there's, I'll just share if it's okay, the 5 qualities of an intuitive leader, because again, I think the journaling, you'll see why journaling then becomes even more important. And then I'll talk about what's in the journal so that people can get a sense of why it might be useful to them as well. But the 5 qualities of an intuitive leader, and this again is, I think, very simple. And yet, if we don't do all 5, we miss out on being, I think, the best leader that we can be. And one is to be real. Okay, so this is, that sounds simple. Not as simple as we think. To be real and authentic with all the people that you work with all the people that you live with. Not always as easy as it sounds. Being vulnerable, being honest, right? When you're building a team, you have to be vulnerable, you have to be honest, you have to create a safe space for others to be real as well. The second is to be respectful. Again, I know this sounds simple, and yet if we are clear, if we are open, if we are listening, and listening is like 75% of what a leader needs to do, I think then we're showing respect, because we're seeing and hearing people and what they are saying and what they need. And then we're actually, the third thing is to be responsive. Responsive is another quality of a leader. If you just told me a whole bunch of things, Cornelia, and then I acted like you never said any of it, that wouldn't feel very good. So being responsive and responding to the person, to what the need might be, to what they're sharing, and just acknowledging is so very important. The fourth quality of an intuitive leader is resilient, being resilient. How do you stay resilient? Well, journaling is a big part of that. Being real is journaling is a big part of being real. Resilient is being flexible, right? So when we're resilient, we have some connection to ourselves. And if we are not connected to ourselves, I have found it, this is my experience, I have not been able to be that resilient if I'm not connected to myself, if I don't know what's going on for myself, right? If I'm triggered by something, like, why am I triggered? Well, there's an opportunity for me to check in and see what's going on. Where do I need to support myself better? How can I listen to this person in a different way? So it's not with my hands stopping them. It's instead like, okay, I want to listen. So resilient is, doing the exercise like, all of us, Cornelia, like to do, right? To feel strong and to feel like our endorphins are, pumped up and we've got a good outlook on life. It's also that we can, when something changes, you think your day is going to go a certain way and then 5 other things happen, you're not like screaming, you're actually going, okay, this is the next thing for me to do, this is the next thing, and you're just moving and in the flow. So resilient is a beautiful quality to have. And then the last one is to be reflective. So again, why is journaling important? Because this is the piece where you're doing that self-connection again. So there's a lot around self-connection, and I have found, I know, Cornelia, you have mentioned many times how you use journaling kind of as your sacred tool for connecting to yourself. And that's how I like to see it as for leaders, that they can really find a way in to themselves. So I actually have some prompts, Cornelia, if that would help. But do you have any questions or thoughts about what you've just heard?
No, I just heard awaken the inner leader.
There you go.
Awaken the inner leader, because that's what it is that you're doing now with our journaling prompts.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What prompts do you have for us today that can get us at least started?
So I will come up with a whole bunch for you, but what I wanted to do also is just share the journal format, because that also is really essential. Because you can, if you have the journal prompts and we can use them, they're great. But after a certain amount of time, you might want to just do something even more basic, which is what's in the journal and its most foundational, which is you are going to check in with yourself. Like, what's your intention for the day? Then it might be something like, how are you feeling? Hey, that's an important one. Now, I want to say that in the seasonal journals that I have and the IFS wisdom journals, we have feeling lists. And there's like 3 or 4 pages of feeling words. I know that I have used them many a time so that I can explore, okay, I might be feeling happy, I might be feeling engaged, I might be feeling purposeful, I might also be nervous if I really ask myself, so how else am I feeling? Oh, I might also be, feeling like concerned. And I can come up with usually about 5 feelings. And it's like peeling the onion, right? When you peel the onion, and then there's somewhere in there a sense of peace. Maybe. So it just depends on the person and the day. But you explore that, and then you look for the next prompt, I would say, is what's the body sensation? Where is this feeling in your body? And how does that then feel? So if I said I was nervous, the body sensation might be, I notice first it's in my stomach and the sensation is jittery. And then I'm going to ask, what is the situation? And this is all in the journal, right? The question is, what situation prompted this? Oh, yeah, that nervousness. I just heard, about, I have a friend who is been dealing with some health issues for a long time now. And I notice that I send prayers to her, but I'm still a little nervous about what's going on. I'm concerned. And so, okay, that's one thing, and then I look at all the different things that might have prompted all the feelings, right? The happy ones and the ones that are making me feel more contracted. The ones where you're feeling more contracted are probably the ones you want to explore just a little more. And then the last question is, what do you need? Knowing how you feel, what the situation is, what is it that you need right now? I want to connect in with my friend and just, send her a text, maybe give her a call and just see how she's doing. Oh yeah, and I immediately just relax. It's like, oh, that's it. It's that simple. And then at the bottom of the page, there's 2 pages, but at the bottom of the first page that we were talking about feelings is gratitudes. And so you kind of wrap it up with, what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate right now? Could be just your breath, could be your team of people, could be your family, whatever it is. And then we go to the other page and we kind of come up with a little bit of a list, if you will, of what's most, your inspired list now of what it is that you want to maybe either tap into, delve into, accomplish, whatever your words are. Or it could be just, other thoughts that you had from the experience of doing the writing on the first page. So it's just 2 pages, and it helps support you to just, literally just me even saying what I've said about my friend. I know that's the right thing for me to do now. I have some action. And action is important. I think as a leader, we're often looking like, what kind of action can I take? Well, it's reaching out and saying, I care.
Yeah.
So those are some of the journaling prompts. And there's different, I have, for each journal, there's actually questions of the day. Each question is different, and it's based on the theme for each season. So for winter, the theme is self-love. For spring, it's around prosperity and abundance. And that's about, kind of overall prosperity and abundance in all areas of your life. The summer is about relationships, and then the fall is about your health and well-being. So each season has its own theme and different questions. But I do want to just, if you have not done a whole lot of journaling in your life and you don't have, My Life Through the Seasons book, and you just have a blank book, then you could be asking yourself, how am I serving others? Just check in. How are you serving? Another great question or prompt for another day is, what's present for me now? Or what's going well? What's creating that? That's another really good, just to notice what's happening. And I'm not just talking in your work life, but in your whole life. What's going well? Another question, another prompt could be, what's challenging and what's creating that? Right? So you can have different questions per day, or you can go through the structure that I've created. This is actually questions that I got from reading an article in Forbes magazine by a woman named Henna Inam, I-N-A-M. And she asked some great questions, and I was like, perfect. If you don't have a journal, then ask, what needs my attention? What's meaningful today? You could ask that every day. What's meaningful for me today? Or what needs my attention today? Another one, what am I learning? There's so many great prompts that we could use. And I think they're it's really important that we look at what is the one that helps you engage in a more deeper self-reflective practice? And so that's why I always go back to, how are you feeling? What's the situation that brought that along? And then what do you need? But I think, to be the best leader that we can be, Cornelia, I do believe we have to be asking ourselves these questions, because when we're asking these questions of ourselves, then we're more likely to then be asking it of others. Like, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? What prompted that? How can I be of service? What do you need? Even if you then took them from yourself and then brought them out to the people that you're working with, who you're living with, your family, I bet they would be so delighted, so honored, so deeply respected to have you ask those questions.
Yeah. I love that. It's inspiring me right now. Even, in the KS Media Group, we used to present the universal question on a weekly basis. And now talking with you about this, it's making me want to have some journal prompts weekly listed in the app. Maybe it will be on Mondays or something, to get people started again with, because a lot of people are entrepreneurs or moving into the form of entrepreneurship. And I feel like every entrepreneur needs to ask themselves morning questions to get themselves started on the day, just for your business, but also for the leadership that you're showing up for. So I appreciate you bringing this communication to us today. And I feel like these journals that you have, I feel like all the journals that you have, they need to be in every business. They need to be with every executive. Everybody needs to be walking around with them and sitting down with them and learning more about what needs to be said through the discovery, right?
Absolutely. I'm doing a presentation on journaling for like an effective practice for journaling with leaders, and I'm going to be doing that in an HR conference. There's an annual HR conference in New Mexico, and it'll be for I'm hoping that people are going to take away that, especially if you're in HR. I do believe that that's such an impactful job, and to have this tool for yourself, again, to build that resilience that we need within us, to be filling up our cup rather than constantly putting it out and never getting enough for yourself. It's so important. And I love that you want to do the universal question, Cornelia. I think that's awesome. I would just also invite people that if they want to, I do every season, I do a 3-day journal challenge. And it's really a jump start into connecting back into yourself. And my next one is March 10th through the 12th. And if people are interested, they can just go to drkarenlubin.com, and there's a tab that says journals, and you can go to the 3-day journal challenge and sign up. It's free, totally free. I do this because I feel this is so important. I don't, if people want to use the journals I've created, hallelujah, that's a great thing. But I really just want people to connect to themselves. That is really the message.
That's the motivation. That's why you're doing this, is for that reason. The other thing that I'm hearing now with your event, March 10th through March 12th, that actually needs to be listed inside the app under events. So, Karen, you send me that information.
I will do that,
so that I can get that event listed. And then when you're in the KS Media Group and you forgot about the dates or whatever, just go under events and go take a look at what we're offering right now in the community. And
I would be so excited. And actually, in the KS Media Group app, I do believe that under my name, under the directory, if they go to, I think there's a something that says journals, I hope.
Yeah,
I
let me go,
believe.
let me take a look while you're talking. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you can go to the KS Media Group app and you go to the directory and you look under my name, Karen Lubin, then you would see journals, and there's also a place there that you can then also find. Um, oh, there it is. Okay, very cool.
It says wisdom, back to self, clarity. Which one would I click on? Wisdom?
I think it's wisdom. Yes. So you
Wisdom?
click on the wisdom, and then there would be a page that would show. Yeah, there's a journaling, and there's a free app, or excuse me, not free app, but a free gift, which is just a small, short little version of all the feeling words. That
Oh,
if
good.
you want just to have that, you can download that through the app.
Yeah.
Okay, that Cornelia is showing you, the KS Media Group app, and that was a free gift that you can receive immediately. So you can also explore different feeling words so you can communicate, yes, more effectively. So there it is. It's
Yeah.
easy to download. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
And there's more in there for you to kind of peruse and look at if you're interested. But that's also, we'll put the 3-day journal challenge there as well for the event page.
So I just want to show the audience. So when
Please.
you created your free account in the KS Media Group app, and then you're looking for Karen, and you're going to click on directories. Click on directories right there, and then it's going to be your influencer. The tab, your influencer. You click on that, and then just type in Karen, Karin Lubin. Type that in, and it comes right up. It comes right up. So type it into the search bar, and then you have all of Karin's information right there at your ready, at your fingertips. Anytime that you're sitting around playing around on your phone, just pull it up on your app, and you have it there. So that's the main reason why I created this well-being app, is to bring you the world's best, that people that are doing extraordinary things. I mean, for those of you that are listening today, or the ones that are going to hear this in the future, you can hear to the passion and the true authentic expression that's coming from you, Karen. And while you were talking, I heard ex principal teaches, look at what you're doing and what you've created, and thank God you stepped away so that you could bring and create these wonderful gifts, and you really have done the work.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's an ongoing evolution of doing the work, right? So that's the beautiful thing. It's a great evolution for me. And I will just say that I am also very honored that I'm also now working with another internal family systems therapist, and Elaine Cascarelli, and then a new woman, Nadine Lucas. We're now creating another series of 4 journals on really the path to healing addiction and traumas. And it's a massive undertaking.
Mhm.
So I'm very, very deeply honored that, again, we're creating a process, a format, a structure for people. So you don't have to think about it. You can just
Right.
open up a page and begin.
Yeah, and that was the tool that, these are the tools that we wish we would have had like 10 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
there's not a lot like it, actually. There's nothing like the seasonal, nothing like the internal family systems wisdom journals. There's nothing like it yet. So,
well, no matter what, we're going to be featuring you in an ongoing series anyway. But when you do have your journals, when you're ready to launch that out for the trauma and addiction, then I certainly want to have you and your collaborators on this show so that
oh,
we
I
can.
love that.
I think that's just going to be a great thing. And we can make a big deal out of it because we can create an event that really, highlights people and calls people in that are ready to heal and release their addictions. Because you're talking to a former addict right now. You probably have never been an addict, right? You've never had any form, have you?
Well, sugar has been my addiction. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I have had, the sugar, certainly that's one thing, but certainly was a smoker, and certainly I had my addiction back in the late 80s, with crack cocaine.
Wow.
To overcome something like that after 4 years of being addicted
Hmm.
to crack cocaine, to walk away cold blood, like walk.
Wow.
That is what we all can do when we really want to live and change our lives.
That's right. And the addiction is really the strategy for dealing with what was our original trauma.
Mhm.
So it's a very powerful process to be able to continue to do this exploration through journaling. And Cornelia, that just says so much about your own commitment to your own personal evolution, and how you have moved and shaken off so much that must have been part of who you were as a little child. You seem like quite the bright light. And so that bright light is now just shining super brightly, always been bright. And that's so incredible. So thank you for sharing that.
It is. It is. There's everything that we go through in our life, whether it's, trauma, whatever it is that we're healing from our past. Like you said earlier, it seems like another lifetime ago. I truly feel that what I lived in the first part of my life, sexual abuse, all the things, suicidal ideation for most of my life, all the things that I've transcended and overcome, that seems like it was another lifetime ago. And very soon you're going to be seeing one of my collaborators and supporters, also Susan Axelrod. She contacted me and wanted me to speak about the emotional core wounding of our humanity. And so we're going to be doing a series of podcasts on the emotional core wounding,
Oh, beautiful.
beyond them.
Much needed.
Yes.
Much needed. That's very exciting. And I just want to, I'm assuming that you continue the journaling yourself, Cornelia, because of what it does for you as a leader, because you're leading many people yourself.
I don't know how many journals I have laying on this table here on my desk. I don't know how many.
Yes,
So
yes.
I have 3. It's Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't live. It's me in the journal. It's me in the journal. That is how we're co-creating the new earth, for sure.
Yes, and actually that is one reason why I created one journal, because it pulled together so many different things into one, which is the one is you.
Yeah.
Right. And I have one other journal which is blank, but I do find that most of my time is spent with the guided, prompted journal.
Yeah.
And it allows me to just feel so connected. And that's the gift that I then get to give the world. And that's what I want to offer everyone, that when you journal as a leader, because we're all leaderful, like Cornelia said, this is the opportunity to, when you connect to yourself, that's the fullness of what you then are giving and gifting the world. So thank you, Cornelia. It's really an honor.
It was such an incredible conversation. I love speaking with you. I look forward again. We're going to bring you back again next month, where we're going to talk about inspiring passions. And it's wonderful to share our wisdom with the world. Everything that we've done in our life brought us to this moment, and we're here to inspire you to do the same. And so, Dr. Lubin, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you to the listeners. Share this video with your friends and your family, people that would benefit from this conversation. And I look forward again to seeing you all next time. For those of you, go to drkarinlubin.com to her website. It's just Karin Lubin or Dr. Karin Lubin?
It's Dr. Dr. And then Karin Lubin. Yeah.
Karin Lubin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't want to go to the website, then just go to the app and you can get it there as well. So we want to thank you for listening and tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Cornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Cornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at corneliastephanie.com.